Vegas about nearly 30 years ago, actually, back in 1993, in a big trip. I talked about Las Vegas, actually. Because this trick here, I learned in Las Vegas, actually. It's been the ice ball trick. We have the ice ball. And literally with a bit ball of ice, this basically is a hard ball of ice. Okay, what you basically do with the ice ball is you take it like this, basically, as I said before, and you kind of put it in your hand like this, the ice ball in your hand like that, okay? And it's simply, as quick as this, it simply does, like, completely disappears like this. So it's a amazing trick, so it's like that, it simply just disappears in time like that. It's an amazing trick, isn't it? It's called the ice ball trick, okay? It's a really good trick. And basically, as I say, I learned that back in Las Vegas, back in the day, maybe back in, I should think about 28 years ago. And I want to talk to you a bit about Las Vegas, basically, Las Vegas experience I had, and seeing very amazing shows I saw back in 1993. I was 23 years old, just 23. I was very young indeed, basically, very young lad indeed. I was on kind of a journey to kind of see magic, and I ended up doing shows actually in Turkey, Greece, and Spain after that, actually doing a cabaret abroad. But I really wanted to see magic in Las Vegas. I'd seen all the TV shows back in the 80s as a kid. I'd seen Copperfield, I'd seen all the big shows, okay, Doug Henning and people like that kind of a very amazing magician, Ricky Jay, like people like him, really amazing magicians. Love Ricky Jay. I've seen people like on TV, people like the amazing magician. I can't remember his name now. The amazing magician. He's a really good magician. What's his name again? He was a very good kind of Mars magician. Jeff McBride, that's his name. Jeff McBride, very good magician indeed. Jeff McBride did masks and like that kind of stuff. Really amazing magician. So because I really want to go to Las Vegas and see the shows in Las Vegas. And then basically kind of like I got out there, I flew out there on a very cheap ticket to LA via New York and got there. And I kind of went around the whole strip of Las Vegas. I was a sort of a asked lots of questions, kind of weirdo, kind of stuff in the street, kind of weird people, that kind of stuff. I stayed in downtown, a really dirty kind of hotel downtown. And the hotel, Elvis Presley, I apparently stayed there actually, and the bed, I stayed in the bed, Elvis Presley bed apparently. He said on the door, said Elvis Presley slept here, it said, and I got in the room and everything. And when I actually slept in the bed was like really broken, it was really sagging in the bed, the strings broken in the bed and everything. I'm sure that was like obviously during Elvis Presley's fat Elvis phase during the 70s, because it was like the bed springs were broken basically. But it was an amazing bed anyway, as I say, and it was an amazing experience going around to see everywhere Elvis Presley had been to in Las Vegas. Elvis Presley had been the star, hadn't he, in the 60s and 70s in Las Vegas. Anyway, I went to see a couple of big shows in Las Vegas. I really want to see. That's the Siegfried and Roy show, which will obviously now finished about 10 years ago, because Roy obviously got unfortunately attacked by the lion, which is very, very sad indeed, but he was a great person. And also I saw another show with the great magician Lance Burton, a very good show indeed, and also other shows as well were going on in Las Vegas at the time. So basically, anyway, I kind of like got into seeing the Siegfried and Roy show. I remember queuing up for ages again to see the show. I paid about $70 a ticket, a lot of money in 1993 to see a ticket for Siegfried and Roy. Got in there, had me shirt and tie, everything looked really, really smart in everything in the show. Got inside the show. And it was amazing. I remember sitting there seeing the show, and they were amazing to go and say, Siegfried was levitating all over the place and cross-legged, levitating around the stage, and there was fire everywhere. There were like people floating through hoops and that kind of stuff. Like people floating through hoops of fire. There was elephant appearing on the stage, and elephant disappearing on the stage. Amazing stuff like that, really amazing. Wonderful from my eyes. I was literally about 20 feet from it as well. There was like, I think at one point they also had a dragon. Dragon appeared as well on the stage. Dragon kind of appeared. A massive robotic dragon appeared on the stage, breathing fire all over the place. And the scenery changed colour. It was amazing. This show cost like $60 million. This show, it's amazing. One of the most amazing shows ever staged actually for the period before the MGM Grand was built, I think. So I'm pretty MGM Grand, I think. It was in the Mirage Hotel. Mirage Hotel was amazing. Mirage Hotel had a great big sort of like fountain in front of it, a great big kind of volcano erupting as well in the front of the hotel. An amazing experience, really was amazing to see Siegfried and Roy. And I really was so amazed by the show. I went to go back and see it again. So I went back again the next night, bought another $70 ticket, bought another ticket and saw the Siegfried and Roy show again for the second night running as well. So I really had an amazing experience to see Siegfried and Roy. I was quite amazed by it. Had the program somewhere at my mum's house or my dad's house, somewhere it is. I know where it is, at my parents' house somewhere. But I have got the program somewhere, probably worth a lot of money actually from Siegfried and Roy. But much enjoyed the experience of seeing Siegfried and Roy. It was an incredible show, an incredible experience to see Siegfried and Roy. I also went to see, at the same time I went to see Lance Burton. Lance Burton was appearing, I think, Tropicana Hotel in Las Vegas, I think he was. Another one of the hotels. And Lance Burton was a beautiful show. He was more skilled than Siegfried and Roy in some ways. Siegfried and Roy were very spectacular, big illusionists. I think Siegfried was really into magic. Roy wasn't so into magic. Roy was more into the animals, that kind of stuff. Loved the lions and tigers, that kind of stuff. Siegfried and Roy had actually a menagerie of a kind of zoo, didn't they, of all the animals. They had like a menagerie they kept in the house in Vegas, didn't they, of all the tigers and lions and leopards and spotted leopards and that kind of stuff, white tigers. Amazing place, really, couldn't really believe it. I think there were tours there, I think, as well to see the place, actually. So sad that good. Poor old Roy actually became ill and died. It was so sad because, of course, they were a terrific actor. One of the best acts ever, probably performing in Las Vegas, ever in show business, ever in magic, to be honest, I should think, definitely. And never anything quite the same as that. I love things like Shimlin, really young with Shimlin, but of course Shimlin is a different kind of kettle of fish in a way, but certainly those spectacular shows really were amazing, weren't those big illusion shows? So Lance Burton was really good. Lance Burton was a really amazing magician. He was a very sleek, very elegant magician. He's still going right now. He actually looked really young. He looks about 23. He actually was about 45, I think, at the time. He looked really young. I met him backstage, and he actually was a bit wrinkly, but I have to say, on stage he looked fantastic. He really did. I couldn't believe it. But what a great guy, a really amazing bloke Lance Burton was. And the best dove activist, with doves, that kind of stuff, producing canes and doves and rabbits and whatever, and handkerchiefs and that kind of stuff. It was amazing acts. And go on YouTube and look at Lance Burton's acts. It's a really amazing act, seriously. Do look at that one there. I think he appeared on British TV almost like 40 years ago, but he was amazing. Oh my God, a mighty amazing show. He also did a thing where he had a sword fight with a masked magician bloke, and then he disappeared, and the masked magician took his mask off, and it was Lance Burton. So there was a kind of body change going on there. An amazing act, really amazing movie. I really love seeing Lance Burton show. I really loved it indeed. So one of the best episodes I've seen in my life, certainly. That was really good. I saw in '94, I saw Copperfield in the end. I'd wanted to see him for years and years and years. Eventually came to the UK after touring around Japan and other places in the Far East, and very big in Germany, and not big in the UK, even though he did about 10 magic shows, Copperfield. Now, Copperfield, of course, during the 80s was the biggest magician in the world, no doubt about it. In the 90s as well, probably, before David Blaine came along. Copperfield had done about 16 TV shows. He came to, he appeared on Oprah Winfrey and all these big shows in America. And he toured so much, he had so much money. I think he earned as much money as the Rolling Stones or people like Madonna money. He earned tons of money anyway. And he was probably the highest paid entertainer in the world. In fact, there was a magician, and also he was a very sleek, good-looking magician, wasn't he, as well? He walked through the Great Wall of China, ran a Statue of Liberty, ran an airplane, did all these amazing stuff, okay? And on top of that, his touring show was really what he really did. He really toured, is what Copperfield really did. So he came to UK, London, in I think it was August '94. I think it was before Pink Floyd did a big show in '94, the Division Bell tour in 1994 in London's Earl's Court. And before that, Copperfield did a stint for about 6-7 days in Earl's Court. And it was I went down there, amazing. I went down to see it. Went with a friend of mine. Went down. I couldn't believe I was seeing Copperfield. I was actually like a dream to see him, because I've been in magic about 14, 15 years at that point. I was 24, 25 years old. So I went in there to see Copperfield. Sat quite at the front. Paul Daniels, I think, had been there as well. Other people have been. Everyone in London and England went to see Copperfield. It was like the holy guru of seeing magic. You know what I mean? Like the guru, you know. So I went down there to see that, and I remember Copperfield did an amazing show. And in fact, because it wasn't on the budget of the Siegfried and Roy show, but it was a beautiful magic show, more beautiful than I've ever seen, really, because the magic was so beautifully formed. Copperfield formed magic is beautifully, cards and coins and mirrors and stuff. I think the show was. I remember him doing. If you want to know, you might be interested. If you're interested in magic stuff, he did cut the girl's head off. Cut a girl's head off and put it on the table, and the girl's head moved around the table. That was good. He also did body through body illusion, where he climbed through a girl's body. Okay, I think the girl climbed through his body. It's called the A-frame illusion, the body through body illusion. That's absolutely beautiful. I think it's absolutely stunning before. It's on YouTube. You can still see it on YouTube. Copperfield 14 show it's on. It's really good, really good illusion. That he also did the blade. I remember the blade where he gets cut in half with the blade. I think he gets cut in half, if I remember correctly. Oh no, the girl does. Sorry, the girl's with the box and the blade comes down and she gets cut in half, like lengthways. So arm and leg there, arm and leg there. You know what I mean? Really amazing. That was beautifully formed as well. From Damsky by Seal. Remember that, the Damsky music. Remember that song, Damsky? That kind of stuff. He also did the blade. The blade was really. So he did the fan. The fan was really good as well. I think he performed on television quite the fan. They used some U2's music for that. And again, the fan was really a massive fan. And Copperfield walked through the fan, kind of like the smoke everywhere and blowing his hair. He had a lot of fans and he was blowing his hair anyway. And he kind of walked through the fan, it was like a giant industrial fan. He walked right through it when it was in motion. It was a really amazing illusion and very dramatic as well. I remember loving that. He also did, I remember he vanished a girl bit by bit. He did the girl vanish, he vanished her arm and leg and head and torso bit by bit. So but disappeared bit by bit. It was pretty good. I think he used something by Terence Trent D'Arby, music by that, I think. Remember Terence Trent D'Arby? Remember him back in the 80s? Used some of his music for that. Copperfield was always very clever at getting pop music and putting it in. He's got a mammy voice who was using the latest pop music and sticking it in. Same thing with Copperfield. He was all like using the latest pop music in Genesis, Phil Collins, whatever it was, Peter Gabriel, nicking bits and putting it into his magic. It was really clever, really brilliant. He used a lot of Peter Gabriel music and Phil Collins music. Copperfield also did other stuff on the show. I remember him also doing the snow routine, and he would stand on stage and he would rub his hands, and the snow came everywhere, and the whole place was suddenly full of snow, and then the whole of Earl's Court was just massive, you know. I mean, Pink Floyd could hardly fill it up as it was. I mean, there was like, Pink Floyd shows are massive, aren't they? And this little Copperfield on stage, and he's rubbing his hands, and the snow comes up, and suddenly the whole place is full of snow. It's amazing, isn't it? Seriously, I couldn't believe it. Great illusion, the snow illusion. A bit tweaky, a bit geeky, a bit goofy in a way, but what a very, very good illusion indeed. I really enjoyed that. Also, he did Grandpa's Aces. Now, Grandpa's Aces is one of my videos. Check out one of my videos, Grandpa's Aces. I did actually. I think it's Silk and Glass video I made called Silk and Glass. It's one of my videos. Check out my channel for that video. Dedicated to my granddad. Actually, really, in a way, that's a version of Copperfield's Grandpa's Aces. Copperfield did that. It's a version, I think it was an idea by a magician called Gary Hewlett, a Canadian magician. Copperfield performed it beautifully. I mean, he performed it beautifully, seriously amazing performed. And he kind of like, you know, the deal the 4 aces out, the aces all disappear and appear in a pile somewhere else of aces. Beautiful illusion, and he performed it great, you know. And he did it for this. He did this on a video camera of about, you know, how many people? 10,000 people? Maybe more than that, probably 20,000 people. It's funny because Copperfield. You know, Copperfield, like, you know, he hadn't really toured UK before. He hadn't really come and the UK at all. He'd only been on television, and he wasn't big in the UK. He was big in America, obviously, and Far East, but not big in the UK at all, despite being this world, you know, big entertainer. And so actually, Sydney was amazing in the UK. And on top of that, I think I have to say, you know, I have to really say it was quite extraordinary to see the whole experience, the whole show, to see it live, as I say, definitely. Because people came in the droves to see the show. The place was jammed with people. I mean, it was to the rafters, seriously, the whole auditorium. And this is a massive place. This is Earl's Court, and this was jammed to the rafters. This place, seriously. And though he wasn't really a big star, it wasn't like David Bowie or something coming to perform in London. He was like a big, you know, this guy's like a big American star. He's a big magician, and the place is jammed. So people did actually want to come and see the good magic because they wanted to see quality magic. So Copperfield, of course, in terms of quality, takes it for me because he's the best quality of all time. And there are very good many magicians. As I said, Jeff McBride, of course, Ricky Jay, Brilliant McCards, and many great magicians. Slidini, of course. Great Slidini. He spent, he had cards and coins, nothing much going on, but he was a fantastic magician. And but it's Copperfield on stage, you know, using pop music, rock music, you know, lighting, dancers. So he had an awful lot going on there, Copperfield, and it was amazing to see the show. And I believe the show in Las Vegas he has is a stationary show nowadays. Though he's obviously 65 or something, and of course he's not what he was back in 1994, but he is. It's still great, but it was great to see the guy, Picasso of magic in many ways, performing at the height of his powers. It was great, and I was 24 years old. I wanted to see him. I tried to get, at the time he was dating that Claudia Schiffer, wasn't he? Dating Claudia Schiffer. And that was being in the news, and they were saying, is Copperfield gay, or is he straight, or is he, you know, what is he, you know, is he into girls or not into girls, or what is he? Because he wasn't really married, so Claudia Schiffer was a big thing. I think he's got married now and has had a baby, of course. Copperfield. I love Copperfield, though, brilliant magician. And so it was all very interesting anyway about Copperfield, and I love seeing the show. It was quite expensive to see. I saw it twice in Earl's Court in a week. I was knackered at doing it, but I love doing it, seriously. It's really good. And the magicians, I saw a lot of magicians live. I saw Wayne Dobson live. He's a very good live magician. Very funny. Dobson's worth to say looking on YouTube and that, because he's very funny. He was actually very witty and very funny and full of gags. He did so many jokes and gags in his routine, quite extraordinary, quite unique. He also did what they call event act, where he did ventriloquism during the show. So he would say, he'd make people talk different voices, you know, hi, you know, how are you? I'm okay, you know, I can't do it myself, but you know what I mean? He kind of made people talk. It was really funny. In the middle, did the magic as well. So he was doing like sort of knife through coat or something, knife through jacket routine, you know, turning someone's jacket with a knife. And then of course the jacket would be restored back to normal again, basically. And in the middle of it, he would throw voices and make them talk silly voices. Very genius, brilliant actually. He's from Leicester, he was, Wayne Dobson. Brilliant magician at the back of the time. Very good. Saw him live. Very good to see him live. And of course, yeah, it goes to show you don't need much money. Everything he had, everyone has his cards, coins, jackets, ropes, that kind of stuff. And there's not much cash involved in making magic. But the magic is the routine, isn't it? That kind of stuff, the routine, the fluff that makes the magic routine work really well. That's really good. I mean, I spent a lot of my time doing magic shows just with everyday objects, actually, cards, coins, cups, that kind of stuff, and handkerchiefs, that kind of stuff, and money, that kind of thing, everyday objects. And that's a lot of my magic routines, being just everyday objects, every, you know, biggest thing. In fact, so going back to Paul Daniels' routine, Paul Daniels act during the 80s. Paul Daniels made his fame from a very low budget act, but he performed it brilliantly. I saw Paul Daniels performing in the Prince of Wales in 1981. This is nearly 40 years ago. I was about 10, 11 years old, and my granddad Theodore Mallinson took me to see him. Theodore Mallinson, Highgate school teacher, Google him, brilliant man, my granddad. Anyway, Theodore Mallinson took me to see Paul Daniels in 1981. It's magic. In 1981, Paul Daniels was a really hot TV star in the UK. He was a very big hot magician. And he performed on about 15, 16 years more on television in England, and it was brilliant. It was the best magician England ever had. And Daniels performed his magic show. Daniels' show was actually very good, actually, because he was such a personality, Daniels, you know. His show comprised, and performed this over and over again in numerous live shows. It's like cup and ball. That was it, the chop cup. It was unequal ropes, which is 3-rope routine. He did that all the time. And he also did the 6-card repeat, where he did that all the time. His big show was 6-card repeat. He had a pack of cards and walked around the stage doing this 6-card repeat. Throw away 3 cards, get back 6. Throw away 3 cards, get back 6. That's that trick. He did that, and that's part of his show, a big part of his show. And also, the climax of the show, Daniels really did, was vanishing some money and making it appear inside a walnut, inside an egg, inside a lemon. Okay, that was the final routine. And also combined it with electric chairs routine. Electric chairs are where somebody gets electric shocks and chair jumps off the chair. Okay, it's called electric chairs, and it was all very clever stuff. And Daniels did that because he used local chairs, he used stuff from the supermarket, and that was his act. But he performed it brilliantly. He was a brilliant magician. And it goes to show how much comedy and magic kind of stuff you can do with that much money and actually do a whole show without an awful lot of budget. Daniels' show was a very big budget, really. The biggest illusion Daniels did actually back in the day, was an illusion called Astra, where he levitated. He levitated in just like a spaceman. I think he had 3 spacemen came on stage and they levitated Daniels, and then Daniels disappeared entirely beneath a sheet. And one of the spacemen would walk forward, take his helmet off, and it was Paul Daniels. Was one of the spacemen. You know, a pretty good illusion. It's like another body switch illusion. And Daniels did that on stage every night, and it was a great illusion. He performed that for years and years, that illusion, actually, right until I think quite near the end of his career, probably. So it was really amazing. So I remember seeing Daniels in 81. He was really hot. He was about 40 years old, really hot magician at the time. Brilliant West End theatre. He did a lot of West End shows actually during the next 10 years actually, until he would kind of retire from doing big shows. But he was really great. I really enjoyed him. I'm really proud I saw him. I did see him performing at the BBC TV Centre back in 1984. Went to see one of the TV shows being shot in 1984 at the BBC TV Centre in Wood Lane, London. Went down there to see that. And I remember seeing a lot of celebrities around the place as well. It was in the BBC, many people at the time. I saw Julian Lennon actually. I saw many people actually, because they're from Todd Pops as well at the same time. I saw Duran Duran and Wham. I saw many of the people hanging about. It was really weird. George Michael, people hanging about. It's really interesting actually, including Julian Lennon, who was very young. I remember him sitting on the fountain having a sandwich. My sister came with me as well. My granddad came with me. I went to see Blue Peter being filmed. I saw Tomorrow's a World being filmed. I saw Top of the Pops being filmed. Then I saw Paul Daniels being filmed. So I went to see it in the Paul Daniels show, and it was really amazing to see it. And Daniels performed linking rings there. Very brilliant linking rings routine. The trick that Daniels did best in his whole career was linking rings. I think it's the trick he actually did perform best. It really was the linking ring routine. Performed it brilliantly. 4-ring linking routine. But check out my video, because my video, there's linking rings on one of my videos. I think it's the Kissing Queen video I made back in July or whatever. Kissing Queen video has got me doing big linking rings. If you love linking rings, you want to learn it, watch the video and just check out my linking rings routine. Maybe you want to use it yourself, do some magic with linking rings. You know, in China, believe it or not, linking rings is part of the national curriculum, and kids actually learn linking rings as part of the national curriculum in China, apparently. Do you know it? Seriously. Let's not talk about China anyway. But as I say, basically, linking rings is done in schools as a kind of a sort of kind of disciplinary kind of thing to do. Learning linking rings is discipline. It's amazing, isn't it? That's to show more linking rings. So basically, that's kind of some of the stuff about that, really. So those some of the shows I saw, Paul Daniels shows I saw, Copperfield shows I saw, Wayne Dobson, and other magicians. I've seen Jeff McBride, a very good magician. Do you look at Jeff McBride? I saw him live. I think the Hippodrome it was. Hippodrome, back in the old Hippodrome, back in Leicester Square, London. He came to perform in London at the theatre in Hippodrome. I'm sure I went to see that. I'm sure we did. But he did a amazing performance. Jeff McBride. He's quite old now, but he's a brilliant magician. Check him out on YouTube. He did an amazing routine. It was using Kraftwerk's music, and he actually had a mask, and the mask would fly around and disappear and appear somewhere. Then this stuff popped out of his mouth, and he went around the stage, and it was an amazing routine. It's actually on YouTube. Jeff McBride. Check it out. Check out, if you want to learn about magic, check out Jeff McBride's routine. Jeff McBride was one of the best magicians in the world, seriously. I have to look at Jeff McBride. Really, really good, okay. As I say, an extra thing, that's a lot of stuff I've seen basically, some of the acts I've seen. I've seen many magicians, almost so many magicians I can't remember actually. You know, one of the best magicians I ever saw live actually was Anthony Owen. Anthony Owen was a friend of mine, and I knew him when he was about 14 years old. A very beautiful performer. And I tell you, I believe, and very sadly he's died. He died young, but I loved Anthony Owen. And I knew him a lot in the 80s and 90s, where a lot of us hang out with him. And again, I saw him performing live, and he was the best young magician I've ever seen in my life. He was the best young magician I've ever seen in my life. And people like to do, you know, elaborate kind of magic routines, you know, doves and that kind of stuff. But again, Anthony Owen was about 17, 18. He'd go on stage, and he was just fantastic. He was funny, witty, like a little mini Paul Daniels. He really was. He was brilliant. I love you, Anthony. Wherever you are, Anthony, I love you. I really do. And Anthony Owen was a great guy. And please look at Anthony Owen. And I'm sorry, as I say, I'm very sad about the end of his life. But he was a wonderful, wonderful guy, and best people I've met in my life. And he actually produced a lot of TV shows. He became a TV producer. And I kind of lost touch with him. It's a shame, so I should have really spoken to him a bit more recently in the last years. He was honoured by BAFTA, as far as I could see. BAFTA honoured him as well, but I knew him very well when he was a teenager in his 20s. He was very supportive of me as well. We used to go to Magic Circle together back in the 1990s. We used to go to Magic Circle quite a lot together, me and Anthony Owen, back in those days. But there you are. And he was a brilliant, brilliant magician. So some of the stuff I've seen actually live, whether you're talking about anyone, and whether you're talking about your friend performing on stage or Copperfield performing on stage, it's good to see magic live. And I saw some amazing live shows. Definitely, really, really did. Really loved it indeed. I'd love to go back to Las Vegas again and see some of the new magic shows in Las Vegas. You know, I would love to see that definitely. Particularly like Chris Angel, I'd see that as well. That kind of stuff nowadays. I was lucky because I got to see the kind of mid-1990s Las Vegas kind of stuff that was going on. So I was kind of lucky really to see all those kind of shows at the time, particularly Siegfried and Roy, because I think that was a bit of a Copperfield, because those shows at the time were really, really brilliant. And I don't know if at the moment if there's anything in magic on stage quite as good as those Copperfield and those kind of like Daniel's Copperfield and Siegfried and Roy kind of magic that was on back in those days, 25 years ago or so. I think it was really, really a golden age of magic. I think magic had a bit of a golden age. And I don't love modern magic, street magic and stuff. I think that was a golden age of magic in a sense back in the 80s and 90s. It really was. There were many, many people about the place. Anyway, I hope that helps you out. Please do check out more of my videos. I've got about 25 magic videos in there, so please click on the links below on the channel for some more magic content, me doing some magic for you, okay? And if you do subscribe, please do subscribe. I will teach you some amazing magic tricks as well, so please do subscribe if you want to learn some magic yourself, okay? Please like and subscribe, please do, okay? So click the links and look after yourself. I'll speak to you a bit later. Catch you later.